All right, so making a recording for the people at home. Going to be kind of hard for people at home to make a book because I have all the paper on my desk. I mean, I guess they could take pieces of paper and fold it together, but just kind of let them know what we are doing today, to let you know what we're doing today. This is our rubric. Okay, I've talked about this already. We've done this in class. Criteria 1 tells me words that I absolutely, Maurice, have to list and define at least once in my project. You are not allowed to do the project without talking about producers, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, decomposers, niche, predator, and prey, and having the definition in there. You have to use those words. There is no question, do you have to do it on every single biome? No. You do not have to do it on every single biome, although I'll be very honest with you, you're going to probably talk about these things in every single biome because every biome has very unique animals, and those animals are going to fit the herbivore, carnivore, or omnivore thing, and the plants that you talk about are going to fit into the producer role. Those animals that eat are probably predators or prey, maybe both. They all fit a niche, and decomposers are everywhere. So it's going to be in all of them. You just don't have to list and define it. If you talk about a carnivore, herbivore producer, it says you have to draw an illustration of that. We will do that together on the first one. So you have to talk about these specific words. You have to define, label, and draw them. It's no way around it. Now, when you get down here to criteria 3, this talks about other vocabulary words. Are there more words on our walls and in our notebooks than those words that I have up there in criteria 1? Yes. Tons of them. Tons of words that we haven't talked about. Again, I will show you what I'm talking about. This box right over here, Isabel, is where I want you to brag on yourself. If you use a word, jot it in there and let me know that you used it. That's what that's for. Okay? Criteria 4. You're going to do a page for each of these biomes. Oceans, estuaries, tropical rainforest, deciduous forest, grasslands. It even tells you to split that page in two. 1/2 for savanna, 1/2 for prairie, because they are very similar but very different. Taiga and tundra. If you're wondering where the desert is and all of that, because I wrote so much about the desert down here in the example, I just left that out. I'm not saying that you can't do the desert. You're most welcome to do the desert if you really want to. You'll have enough pages in your book to do that. So, again, when you are talking about the ocean, which we will do together, we are going to list biotic and abiotic factors that make the ocean very unique. We're going to write that in a 5th grade style paragraph. We're going to use our best handwriting. We're going to use our best drawing, and we're going to move on. And I will walk by. You're going to look at some art and be really angry because of how talented people are. And I'm going to show you some other art that looks more like what most of us can do. And you might be shocked to know that usually the one with the art that is not so focused is probably the better overall project because they spent more time on the writing than they did the drawing. And because this is science, not art, I would much rather your writing be better and your pictures be stick figures than to have beautiful drawings and then your writing makes no sense or it uses words incorrectly. Okay? So, first thing that we're going to do is, please let me do this. Yes. I want you to turn to the front of your book, the cover of your book. Adley, at the end of all this, if you turned in your book and it just had this, I'm not going to say anything. I do not need this magnificent cover. If you get to that, awesome. It has to have the title, Ecosystems, on there. It has to have your name and your class number, and it has to have your homeroom teacher's name. You would be shocked. Someone actually wrote everything that I have on the board. They wrote Ecosystems, Mr. Bullens, number 28, and then Bullens, and said, is this it? No, not unless you're doing a job for me. That is not it. Okay? Right now, Ecosystems, not Mr. Bullens 28, your name and your number, and then your homeroom teacher. If you are going to be one of these kids that super decorates their cover with the word ecosystem, and like if you've seen the way Google is when you log in today, notice how they did something very fancy with the word Google, because it's 25 years of Google today. If you're going to do something fancy with the word ecosystems, that's fine. You can leave ecosystems off for now and decorate it later. But it definitely, 100% has to have your name, your number, and your homeroom teacher's name on there before we do anything else. Now, if I look at the rubric, if this will let me look at the rubric, again, goodness gracious. It's just like frozen. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I'll pick it up in a minute. When we look at the rubric, it wants us to talk about oceans. That's the first one we're going to do. Somebody tell me some facts that you know about oceans. Some facts that you know about oceans. Lots of seaweed in the ocean is very correct. Yes, sir? The deepest point's the Mariana Trench. Salt water. Is that another definition that we could use when we're writing our paragraph today? Is that an extra vocabulary word? We know that that one's really hard to define, though, right? The definition of salt water is? Water that has salt in it. I know, that's very tough. All right, what else do we know about the oceans? Lots of different animals and fish. The largest biome. Do you think that I put that in mind? Guarantee you it's in there. Yes, ma'am. A lot of plant life. A lot of what? Coral? Yeah, coral reefs are there. Yes, ma'am. Different temperatures from the bottom to the top. Last, Elijah. No trees in the ocean. Kelp, has this kelp, that forest, it has kelp, absolutely. All right, have we talked about things about the ocean? Yes, we have. I'm going to show you, and if you write every word that I write word for word, this is the one time it will not be considered plagiarism because I am showing you what a good 5th grade thing would look like, if this will let me. There we go. All right. The oceans, the marine biome, covers 70% of the Earth's surface, making it the largest of all biomes. Oceans have salt water. Notice how I put the definition over here in parentheses. Do you see it? Sharks live in the ocean and they are... So I go back to my rubric. I notice that I have to use the word carnivore, correct? I take my pencil, my highlighter, my pen, whatever you happen to have. I highlight the word carnivore. I come down here. Did I define saltwater? Did I define saltwater? Yes, I did. So I'm going to put that right down here on criteria number 3. I go back. They're carnivores, animals that only eat meat. They have adapted. Did I define the word adapted? The way a plant animal changes to survive in its environment. I go back to my rubric, not that rubric, this rubric. I'm putting the word adapt in there. Adapt to live in the oceans by being fast. They are ambush predators. Did I use yet another word? In a minute, you can write all this. I come up here. Look what I've done. In the first biome, I've already defined 2 words. Could I have used all of those words? I probably. I come back down. Kelp is a producer. Did I define it? I go back to my rubric. Kelp is a producer, an organism that makes its own food, that lives in the ocean and protects the coast from erosion, period. Did I talk enough about the abiotic factors? Well, I talked about the water. The sun, the soil, and the temperature varies in all the different oceans, right? Do we have enough space to write about all the different variations of temperature and sunlight in all the different parts of the ocean? No, we do not. I wrote about the important things. Could I have talked about, like one student did, about how sharks and remoras have a commensalistic relationship that benefits one and not the other? I was like, what is that on the shark? He's like, that's a remora. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's mind-blowing. That's awesome. Same kid later on also put a fish laying their eggs in the estuary, because that estuaries are where fish go to lay their eggs because it's protected. It's not as open as the ocean. Brilliant. It's brilliant. I'll definitely walk around with that one because it's awesome. Is this super hard? No, this is not hard. Guess what would go at the bottom of this page? A picture of the ocean with a shark swimming through some kelp, maybe chasing a small fish. Maybe the fish is bloody if you want to do that without being ridiculous. Overly difficult project? No. I have children that are